So, greetings, Mr. Kailash. Thank you so much for joining us on the Safety Connect podcast. We've been wanting to have you on the podcast and discuss with you, learn from your years of experience in road safety. And today we're specifically going to be talking about the safe systems approach to improve road safety globally. So, thank you once again for joining us. We would love to hear more about your journey and what got you into road safety to begin with.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Uh, when I was doing my Bachelor of Engineering from Indore, I used to travel from a place called Mahu, that is a military headquarter of war. So from there to Indore, and quite often I used to also travel by road, that is a Mumbai-Agra National Highway. And there I used to see a lot of accidents and fatalities. So when there was a choice in my BE course, uh, optional subject, so I opted for advanced highway engineering and traffic and transport engineering. And there I developed the interest in 1975 to go for this advanced subject, where I learned about the traffic engineering and also the importance of safety. And later on, I went to do my master's MTech from NIT Warangal. And there I further developed and did a specialization on various subjects which are related to road safety and transport planning, traffic engineering. And then I was selected at CRRI, which is a premier institute for road safety and traffic engineering and transport planning. So from there, I got an assignment to when this uh, Goa bridge collapsed. Then I was given that assignment that I have to go and also to on this one bridge which was having lot of accidents and fatalities in New Bombay. So from Mumbai to New Bombay, Navi Mumbai, there was a bridge where that it was a 4-lane bridge. So I had to go and do the inspection and recommend what can we do. So it was undivided 4-lane. So we made it divided to stop overtaking, over speeding, and then number of those rumble strips. And so those type of things I did, and it was actually almost it is stopped. Otherwise, the buses with passengers, they were falling into the sea. So that gave me more interest. And then I went to Canada on Commonwealth Fellowship. Again, I actually enhanced my knowledge. And from there, I came back to India, returned back to India, and then I was teaching at Roorkee University, IIT Roorkee. And then I joined the Delhi Transport Corporation as a chief transport planner, where we were dealing mostly on the buses and safety of the buses and operation of side of the buses. And then I migrated to Australia, and I went to worked in 15 countries on various World Bank, Asian Development Bank finance projects, including those Australian aided projects, Japanese aided projects. So I had been to almost 6 times to India also from Australia. And then we introduced the advanced techniques, and also like speed management, speed guns, alcohol meters, and then a computerized driver system, and then road safety strategies. And then in Gujarat, I introduced this demerit points, and then those 5-star incentives and subsidies for the safer cars. So like all aspects of training to the police officers, a lot of education. So I had been working on all various aspects which can affect and improve the road safety.
Got it. Understood. So I would definitely want to dive deeper into the points that you mentioned in terms of demerit points and so on and so forth. But before that, I wanted you to maybe throw some light on the safe systems approach that you've been talking about.
Yeah, about 30 years ago, uh, Norway, Sweden, and Holland, they started a system approach. That is what we call the safe system approach. It is an integrated and holistic approach. And the main aim was to improve the road safety. So the safe system approach is because road safety is a shared responsibility. So it's not only like a road engineers or police or education, awareness or treatment after the crashes. So it is a systems approach where that number of departments and stakeholders are involved. So the idea is that one before that there was a traditional approach where the maximum emphasis was on increasing the capacity and mobility without bothering about the safety. So that was the emphasis on the traditional approach. But safe system approach is where that uh, safety of the road users became very, very important. And for that one, the traffic system and transportation system, that design and operational management, they were actually given the full credit and like they were treated uh, in a systems like a systems interventions or pillars. So in the safe system, basically it was considered that humans can make mistake, driver can make mistake. There may be that vehicles can have that some fitness problems. So because of that one, that vulnerability of the drivers, road users, and because of their limited tolerance level, they can make mistake. Then they have a limited tolerance level, and also that they are vulnerable. So with that one, it was considered that we have to actually develop a system where we can have the different layers of protection. So with that one, there will be not that like serious injuries or uh, those fatalities. So even if the driver make mistake, they are being distracted, they are using a mobile phone, or they have got the fatigue, or they are tired, or they have like recently that one incident where that in Rajasthan that MP was involved, where that one lady has died. So there, that main reason was they say that driver slept for a like a moment, and then the car left the main expressway. So in those type of situation, we have to develop or that mystery case where there were actually the driver might have made mistake. They might be over speeding, but we have to develop a system like a protection by doing that different interventions, and they are the one which are the highest evidence based interventions. So like we have to provide safer road and safer roadside, then we have to provide safer speed, that we have to see that the drivers and riders, they go at a safer speed. Then we have to have the road users like drivers as well as the pedestrians, they should have like a adequate awareness from the childhood and till they get the licenses. So they should be also that properly educated and trained and skilled. And then we have to have the vehicles which are safer. Like a vehicle should have that what we is being emphasized now in Australian and that global or Indian NCAP. So that is the one which has now started in India, luckily. So there, that vehicles they are crash tested, and then they are given star ratings. So 0 to 5 stars, and more the stars, and again that it is being tested for adults and children occupants. So at the moment in India, that two models from Volkswagen and Skoda, they have 5 stars for both adult and children occupants. There are number of other vehicles, now more than 10 vehicles, which are 5 stars for adult occupants by Tata, Mahindra, and other companies. But still, we are having majority of the new cars are still 0 to 3 stars. So that is the one thing where we have to emphasize that, like in Australia, 95% of the cars are uh, 5 stars. So that is the purpose, is that if we provide a 5 stars, and not only 5 stars for the occupants, but also for the road users. So even if there is a cyclist coming in front of the vehicle, or there is a pedestrian or any road users, so even then the vehicle can detect and then they can stop well in time. So that type of thing. Then post crash care. So even if, so these are all preventive measures. So before that any crash occurs, we have to do all these type of layers. And once the post crash, once the crash has occurred, then what we call the golden hours. So if within 1 hour, if we can get the that like we can reach the patient victim, and then we can treat it, take it to the hospital and start treating, then the many lives can be saved. So that is the what we are doing for prevention of those life, and that is what we call the vision zero. So that is the vision zero is there, and then it has been there is a decade of action by the United Nations. There was a first decade of action, and now there is a second decade of action, which is up to 2021 to 2030. And by 2050, they want that there should be zero fatalities globally. But 2030, because they could not achieve that the figures in 2020, so now it has been shifted, goalpost has been shifted to 2030. So by 2030, that what we call the KSI or FSI, fatality and serious injuries, they should be reduced by 50%. And then by 2050, it should be zero. So
Do
vision
you think
zero,
it'll happen?
yes, it is possible. Like uh, in Oslo, Norway's capital, it is zero fatalities from last 2-3 years. In
Wow. Okay.
Canberra, I was working in Canberra, and in Canberra we introduced like safe system approach. So I actually analyzed 35,000 crash records, and we introduced 50 kilometer per hour on secondary roads, uh, and then 80 kilometers on the primary network like motorways, expressways within the city limits, and 40 kmph on school zones when the children are present with traffic calming measures. So now from like 60, it has reduced to 4 in the last year. So it works very well. Overall in Spain, which has tried this safe system approach, 80% reduction in fatalities. In Australia, 47% reduction in fatalities. So USA,
What? Mhm.
Canada, UK, they are all following the safe system approach. But in India, still we have not gone to that, actually started following or implementing the safe system approach. And one of the feature of or the intervention which is highly effective of the safe system approach is the safer speed. So that safer speed is the one which is like in the case of India in 2022, 70% of the fatalities have occurred mainly because of over speeding or excessive speeding to the conditions. So if we can target that these are highly effective interventions and they have been proven. So if it is evidence-based approach where we can actually reduce the speed on our expressways and national highways, so we are also actually reducing the fuel consumption. We are also reducing the emissions of the greenhouse gases. So it is always like a plus, plus, plus. And only that disadvantage is that travel time. So there will be increased travel time, but that travel time is marginal, that whether it is what we save in the travel time, whether it is productive. But main thing is the saving of the lives. So if we can reduce the fatalities, if we can reduce the those serious injuries, uh, damage to the vehicles, damage to the properties, trauma, plus the additional burden on the health and transport sectors, law and order sectors, then definitely it is worth going for it. And in 1973 in the USA, when this oil crisis was there, in entire USA, that speed limit was reduced to 55 miles per hour. And that was mainly at that time, it was to reduce the fuel consumption and that greenhouse gas emissions. So there are win-win-win situation if we reduce the speed, operating speed on our main network. 56% of the fatalities have occurred on Indian expressways and national highways in 2022. So naturally that this is the one and which is a very like a easy to implement, easy to enforce. So rather than doing there are other means are also there, like we should provide the safer roads, we should provide safer roadsides, we have to train the drivers, we should have a proper licensing system, we should have a 5-star vehicles. But this is the one which is highly effective, easy to implement, and just only that you are changing from 120 to 80, and which is already uh, recommended very strongly by the Madras High Court 2 years ago.
One thing that I wanted to check with you, now that you mentioned about the safe systems approach, how it involves right from how the road is made, ensuring roadside also you have the necessary prerequisites to ensure that safety. It's a forgiving driving experience for that particular for the particular person behind the wheel or the people in that particular vehicle. Then you did speak about the cars, how it has to be ideally 5-star rating. Then also in terms of educating the people, also the safe road speed. Then coming to the golden hour, talking about how emergency response is required. So one thing that I wanted to check with you is that now that we know that okay, 5-star ratings is what is a prerequisite, why is it that it's not always that only 5-star rated vehicles are allowed on the road, right? Why not? That sounds like a very logical thing to do, but in your opinion, why is that not something which is enforced?
See, the main reason is what is being told, that the moment you provide the safety features, it will be expensive. But people are not being told that the cost of a, like estimated cost of a fatality is in Indian rupees, what we have estimated and what the experts have uh, actually calculated, it is a 91.5 lakhs. So just the cost of a fatality itself is a very, very high amount, which is includes hospitalization cost, plus loss of productivity, plus law and order cost. Uh, so all those costs included, it is what the International Road Federation of India, they have calculated and they have presented it. So the main thing, people, they go just for mileage. Like when the people that purchase the vehicles, they see that emphasis is that how much we can save in the petrol or diesel. So there that people have actually been not told what is the importance. As I already mentioned, that one, the traditional approach which has been there that emphasis has been on maximizing the capacity and mobility, not the safety of the road users or safety of the drivers. So that was the design. And unfortunately, we had hardly have the people who are having the formal or education, or genuinely they are educated in road safety. Unfortunately, in India, Australia, New Zealand, and in many countries, there is no formal degree courses, diploma courses, or postgraduate courses on road safety. So road safety professionals are totally missing. You can say 99% people who are working in these areas, they don't have any formal qualification and experience. So just like you will never go to a quake doctor to get it treated, and we could solve the problems successfully at COVID-19 because we had a very good trained and qualified health sector people, doctors and nurses. So that is totally missing in uh, road safety sector. People are doing PhDs or masters, some thesis work, but that is not that. It is a specialization where the people should have a knowledge of all these systems approach, and then there should be a proper what we call the continuous coordination, collaboration, and cooperation between the agencies. So all the agencies who are working, there should be coordination. So we established first time in Kerala, uh, that Kerala State Road Safety Authority. So where that for the collaboration, and we raise the fund also by charging the when the people come for renewal of their licenses or registration, 100 rupees. And that way, about 16 to 17 crores of rupees was every year was raised, and that is being used for improving the road safety. In Australia, they use 3 by 3, means for 3 years, 3 cents per liter. That is a charge, and whatever money is being raised, that is being used for road safety. So that way it can be done quite effectively. And so coordination, cooperation, and collaboration among the agencies is very, very important because it is a shared responsibility. So people, and plus it is a regulation also. Like so far, like a NCAP has been introduced in India only now in 2023. Before that, it was not being emphasized. Like even if that like a wearing of seat belt is compulsory, but there is no checks for the overloading. So 7 to 8 people will be there in a car, but their number of seat belts are only 5. So overloading is another reason which is there. plus operation, like it is being recommended in like in Australia, everywhere, that after every 2 hours of driving, you should have a break for 15 minutes. But we don't follow. Our drivers, they don't follow. It is not practical, means from their point of view. So people have to be educated that what are the consequences if that people are not following the laws, they are not using the proper safe vehicles. So that type of things have to be educated. Means apart from the road and roadside improvement, operational side also is very, very important.
But isn't this education already being done, in your opinion?
No, unfortunately, that is the problem, because it has to start from the grade one itself. When the people are crossing the road, uh, here we use that stop, look, think, and then cross. And where to cross? Again, that facilities have to be provided first thing by the road engineers. It should be a proper zebra crossing, or if it is not a zebra crossing, then at least 2 lines should be there. Then it should be like a proper crossing facilities, or if it is, again, there are different levels. Push the button signals can be provided if it is the volume is high. There can be a what we call the lollipop person or supervisor when the children are crossing. Then if it is, again, it is a problem, then we can go for a grade separated one over bridges. So these type of what we call the infrastructure development or infrastructure facilities, first thing we have to provide, and then we have to educate, create the awareness, educate the road users, and then we have to enforce it also. Like
Okay.
school zones, I have recommended and I introduced in Kerala also, 25 kilometer at the school timings. So the boards were there at the start of the school zone, and it was mentioned that from 8 to 8:30, it is a, and then 4 to 4:30, this speed will be remain on 25. So it was introduced, and then fluorescent signs were there. Then raised zebra crossing was provided, fencing was provided, and then there was a what we call the lollipop person or lollipop lady or supervisor in PPE. They will be there. They will be guiding the students. No parking, no stopping, proper stopping and like a pickup places. So all those things are to be there. And only in 2023, first time IRC, Indian Road Congress, has developed a guideline for school zone safety. So we have to also like see that one that we provided. Fortunately, I initiated this one in 1988 itself, one IRC code for the comprehensive document on traffic calming measures like speed breakers, speed humps, raised crossings, transfers, those lines. So how can we actually control and reduce the speed? How can we manage? What should be the shape, size, signs, marking, spacing of these speed humps? Still that like based on the statistics or a NCRB report, 4,000 people actually have been killed per year because of the improper those design of those speed humps.
So whose
So we
responsibility
actually,
is that now?
yeah, so
Sorry,
that is
I just
actually the
wanted to ask you.
yeah.
So who's accountable now for that? In case,
Yeah,
because the
see, the
road
main problem
infrastructure.
is that we introduced this standard, and it was approved and published by the Indian Road Congress in 1988. And even today, um, many of the road engineers who are constructing the road, they don't know that there is such a code or a standard is there. And even if they know, they don't follow that, like what should be the length, what should be the width, what should be the height, what should be the marking, what should be the proper signage. And even in we mentioned it very clearly that it is a road hump. But in Gujarat, throughout, I noticed that still they call the road bump. Bump is a derogatory word. And again, bump is a only narrow, about a half a meter wide, those humps. But they provide still in throughout the Gujarat, all signboards, they say it is a road bump. So now you can see that in 1988, we developed that standard, and it was very clearly mentioned that it is a road hump, 3.7 meter in length, 10 centimeter in height. And then for buses and trucks, it should be 5.5 meters in height, parabolic shape. But still, um, many of the highway engineers, they are not constructing it as per that IRC standard. So first thing is the problem with that, uh, those engineers itself. Second thing is that our media, our road users, they have to also, like a community organizations, NGOs, they have to raise these issues. Because if that was designed that when that anybody crosses with a speed of 20 to 25, there will be no jerk. More the speed, then there will be more jerks, and then people will be forced to reduce the speed. And I have seen in Roorkee and Hyderabad, there was because the height was 10 centimeter was there, and it should be smooth, but height was made 15 to 20 centimeter. And next to those speed breakers or humps, there were axle repair shops. So that is the type of situation where that we have come across.
So as you're rightly mentioning, it's important that even as citizens, we raise these issues with the necessary authorities and then ensure that this is implemented in the right way so that it's not a risk.
Yeah. See, another thing is example is like a school zone speed limit.
Mhm. Okay.
There was a conference of a Stockholm Declaration in 2020, where the heads of or the ministers of 80 countries, they assembled and they agreed to follow the safe system approach. And also they agreed that in busy urban areas, busy towns, and in school zones, there will be a maximum speed limit of 30. And even in Australia, in Melbourne, Sydney, Auckland, UK, still maybe one or two schools, even after 3 years, uh, they have not been implemented. And in India, again, hardly you will find anywhere that there is a speed limit of 30 in the school zones. So that is the type of thing. Only you change it from 40 to 30, just changing the number and enforcing it, educating it. So that is not taking place because people that don't take seriously that those road safety. 1.5 million fatalities in India in last 10 years. So which is a very, very large number. It's an ongoing pandemic.
True.
And we have to take care of that road safety, just like what we did it for COVID-19.
Got it. Absolutely. So, Mr. Kailash, just wanted to check with you. So now, what are the roles that corporates can play in this? Because they have a huge number of employees, maybe hundreds to thousands to lakhs of employees, even in certain companies. So, what is the role that they can play towards this?
See, the government has already started the process to improve road
Sorry,
safety.
I, I mentioned the corporates.
Yeah, corporate also, like
Oh,
a corporate when they decide about the fleet purchase. So when like each and every corporation, corporate organization or firms or companies, they want to buy the vehicles because they have to keep the vehicles mobility. mobility of the staff. So there they have the choice. Like rather than buying a Innova, which is a 3-star rated, they can go for a one which is a 5-star rated or 4-star rated. So just a marginal actually cost increase, but they are providing rather than giving compensation or the loss of time, they can go for those safer vehicles. So this is a very, very simple. It's not like a wholesaler is the fleet manager, but they are emphasizing again that what is the saving in the fuels. They are not bothering that one. Even if there is a crash, there is a waste of time for repair, but loss of life, injuries, that can be avoided if you can go for a 5-star vehicle. And now, luckily, in India, there is a choice. About 5 years ago, there was no choice. But within the 5 years, Tata, Mahindra, and other companies, they have actually started manufacturing the vehicles which are 5-star rated. So that is there. Plus like in Nirma University in Ahmedabad, if anybody is coming with a two-wheeler, helmet is compulsory. So without helmet, people cannot enter. Same thing with the seat belt. So checking the seat belt itself, not actually using the alcohol, drink and drive, not using the mobile phone while driving the vehicle. Even when they are hiring the vehicle, renting the vehicles, they can go for a, like most of the, now emphasis is on electric vehicles, electric cars. And many of the electric cars which were being manufactured and sold in the name of climate mitigation or greener, but they were not safer. Only now that Tata Nexon or Tata those Tiago, now they are coming with 4 and 5 stars electric vehicles. So I actually prepared a detailed project report and I submitted it to the government of Gujarat about 3 years ago on the World Bank project, that we should give subsidies and incentives for not only for the greener vehicles, but also which are safer vehicles. So government can also give the subsidies that when the people they buy safer and greener vehicles, they should get some subsidies and incentives. Same with the corporate. They can go for those vehicles when they are renting, when they are telling their employees that when they travel, not only that fleet should have that safer vehicle safety features like airbags, uh, electronic, that what we call the electronic stability control, ABS, all these features which are there in the cars, which can be just marginal cost, they should be emphasized. So like in Australia, as I mentioned, whenever that they have to buy a fleet vehicle, all the government fleet, corporate field fleets, they should be minimum 5 stars for both for at least for all adult occupants. And then they have to follow all those like a no drink and drive. Then again they have to follow the safe speed limit, not go beyond that whatever the speed limit is there on the roads, not use mobile phones while driving. So these are all things which are not that because we are saving, we have to save the lives and we have to actually reduce the injuries.
Absolutely. And one interesting thing that we've seen with certain corporates, right? So we also work with corporates, and then we've noticed that now what they can really do is bring about or strengthen the education for the people within the company, right? And once they do that, we can bring about a behavior change. So certain clients that we work with, they have actually deployed our application, Safety Connect application, for their employees. These could be people who are in, say, two-wheelers, four-wheelers. And now what this application does is it helps analyze the driving behavior. It
Yeah.
analyzes things like your phone usage while driving, harsh acceleration, harsh braking, cornering, overspeeding, distracted driving. Based on this, it coaches the employees on how they can become safer. And it gives organizations visibility into high risk employees, high risk regions, and high risk behaviors. So now you can tell who could potentially meet with an accident, which region are they from, and what behavior is could potentially cause that accident to happen. Now, based on this, we've also seen companies being able to reduce road accidents by up to 80% within a year of them implementing this. So corporates, they may not have the infrastructure in their control and so many other variables, but what they're doing is educating them and then helping them bring about this behavior change. And when you have an application to help, which is your anchor to bring about that behavior change, it becomes more measurable and effective. Now, another thing that we've seen people doing is once they have this insights into who is safe, who is unsafe, also on the lines of what you said about the merits and demerits, right? Like now it's important to gamify this whole experience. So putting in place rewards for the safest people within a certain branch on a monthly basis, and also educating their families also about what are the best practices. That also goes a long way in helping bringing about that behavior change. So these are a couple of things that we've seen also adding a lot of value. So I also wanted to know your thoughts on what do you think about autonomous vehicles? Is that the answer? Do you think first
See,
of all, will that help reduce accidents? Will that help get to zero?
there are many what we call the intelligent transport system or intelligent uh, applications of the technology. So definitely it is possible and it has been proven. But again, first thing is like new vehicle. Any new vehicle, if we bring with safety features, like as I mentioned, that one that not only for occupant, so active and passive features in the cars. So it is just like that one itself. So it can make the difference, and it is uh, definitely it has proven technology. But the thing is that one, how many people will be able to buy it? Who will manufacture it? Whether it will be affordable? So that will take time. So on a limited applications like taxis in Singapore or a particular bus route, so there it has applicable. But on a general level, like as you mentioned, that one that behavioral change for the drivers, operators, that is what is most important at the moment, like defensive driving. So this type of things creating awareness. Like okay, if you ask anybody what is the cost of a fatality, hardly anybody will be knowing that one. How many people are dying on the road? If you just tell that one that like 1.5 million in last 10 years, hardly people will be know. Even our all political leaders, they don't know who are decision makers. Our all IAS, IPS people who are managing the road safety or traffic movements or transportation, they are not aware of these facts. So similarly, that as you mentioned, that one that behavioral change is the most important. But unfortunately, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. I have seen the people we have been telling that one that if you are, it's like a corporate vehicle, and if the driver is driving, they should not use the mobile phone. But police has like in front of me in Bengaluru, the police came and asked the driver that you are using mobile phone, you stop it. Then police fellow goes away, and then again after 5 minutes he's using mobile phone. So that's why that what we introduced what we call the demerit points. I prepared a report in Gujarat, that where that not only the fine is important, but also the demerit points. If a person has got 12 points in a year, the license will be cancelled. Jumping off a red light, 3 points. Going speed, if it is a 10 kilometer over the speed limit, apart from the fine, 3 points. If it is going over by 50 kilometer, then it is there's 6 points. So apart from the fine, but there should also be that what we call the demerit points, which even in today it has been introduced in almost all developed countries and Australia, Middle East. But in India, still it has not been included in the Motor Vehicle Act. Same thing can be for the employees also. Like employees who are the drivers, there can be also be not only that uh, the training and skill development, but also there can be a demerit points, that if they repeat and if they continue to do that type of mistake, there should be also the demerit points, and also there should be reward also. Like recently in New South Wales in Australia, they to whosoever was having demerit points and good record for the next 1 year, then those they were given reward that they can have a -3 or -5 demerit points. So that type of things, again, it is a need of the hour that in India also we should not only have the fines, but we should also have the demerit points for all the drivers.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And also, in addition to the demerit points, I feel putting a good rewards program is also something
Yeah, yeah,
uh, which goes a long way as well.
yeah. One more thing which we submitted and which has worked very well successfully in most of the developed countries is what we call the graduated licensing system.
Mhm.
People get the learner license uh, by like maybe by properly giving computer courses or computer examinations, or sitting in a test or something, even physical test, but there should be a real test in the field. And for that purpose, that the licensed driver should not go on the road without any experience. So for that purpose, it is very, very important that there should be supervised training for the driver, learner drivers. And in Australia, what we call the graduated licensing system is you don't get the license, full license in one stroke. You
Mhm.
have to go in a process. Like first thing, you have to get a 50 hours of supervised training. So people should go for a supervised training with some licensed driver. And then that person qualifies for the P1 with conditions that he will not go more than 80 kilometer per hour. And in 1 year, first year, he will not have any alcohol. Then in the second year, P2, the person will have like a license. He can go with the normal speed, whatever is there, 100, 120. Again, in Australia, New Zealand, UK, the highest speed limit, national speed limit is 110 kilometer per hour. No road can be designed or operated. Nobody can operate in Australia except Northern Territory more than 110 kilometer per hour. So again, they have put that type of limit. But also at the same time, these drivers, when they get like a P1, they have like a curfew. So between 10 to 6, they cannot take any other passenger. What happens if anybody get license? His friends, his relatives, they will jump into the car and they will go for a drink, for a party.
True.
So
Yeah.
they avoid that one, that between 10 to 6, like the time when they can go for a party. and they are at risk. Again, it is evidence-based. They are not allowed to take any passenger at P1 level. Again, they cannot buy any turbo vehicles with a turbo or with a higher speed, or say more than 1200 cc. This is again evidence based. In Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, UK, that type of provisions are there. So first thing is supervised training for 50 hours, then P1, P2. Then there are restrictions on type of vehicle you can purchase, uh, passengers you can take. Again, if there is anybody not wearing seat belt, he will be fined. And three of the prime ministers of Australia, they have been fined because they were giving an interview without wearing seat belt.
Oh, okay.
So it has happened with Bob Hawke and other ministers. One of our transport minister lost license because he was over drunk, over the limit. So that it has to be followed, that law and order and enforcement, it should not be there should be not any discrimination. They are the road users, they are the drivers or riders. They have to follow that.
Absolutely. So, what do you think are the challenges in implementing that in a country like India?
See, the thing is that one, we have to create the awareness. Like you can see, first Motor Vehicle Act, which was actually I was also involved in 1988 when I was teaching at Roorkee University. So we improved the earlier driving license. After 1988, almost for 5 years, it was not passed, which was revised because it has to go through the different states, different stakeholders, and even in Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it took almost 5 years to get it passed. And when it was passed, even in the BJP governments, where in Gujarat and other places, it was not implemented. Like helmet, they were allowed in city limits. Without helmets, the people can drive. So that is the attitude that so politicians, they have to also understood that what is the importance of safety. So political will is again the most important thing that should be there. And again, the political will be there when that our NGOs, community organizations, road users, they will be proactive. Media, they have to be proactive. So only when some VVIP get involved into this type of crisis, every day means we have losing one jumbo jet. 19 people per hour, big numbers. Only thing because it is a not, we can say it is distributed in time and space. So it is not occurring at a one place, but it is that 19 people per hour, they are dying in India, which is a reported figure. WHO and IITs, they have found that we are still 100% we are underreported. So reporting proper accident database, because which is evidence based, like in HP, we had fortunately in 2015, a software was purchased from the TRL, and where the data was always people were trained, and now that data is using like we are using that one as evidence based data, and we are actually improving the road safety using those evidence based measures. And now we are following the safe system approach. And remarkably, Himachal Pradesh is one of the state where that fatalities and serious injuries have reduced considerably.
Understood. Got it. I think whatever you shared is very, very valuable. And then we hope through this podcast we create more awareness about it, and then the necessary people take the action which is required towards making the country safer and even the world safer. Now, Mr. Kailash, I wanted to know what is the message you want to leave people with?
Yeah, message is that one that we have to consider it very seriously. Road safety is a shared responsibility where everybody is involved. Whosoever goes on the road, they have to treat uh, just like COVID situation, 19 situation. They have to, when they are going on the road, it is like just like a war field. The safety of the people, any road user is involved. So just like they have to, first thing that in COVID people were wearing PPE. So here also that PPE is importance of PPE is very very important. When people are crossing on the road, anybody who is crossing on the road, they should be wearing the light cloths, reflective cloths. Again, they should cross it properly. Then our fortunately in our vehicles they have got the conspicuity marking tapes so they can be visible. Motorcycles they have that headlights on when it is they are started. So those type of things. So vehicle has to be visible, road user has to be visible, plus any object or hazard on the road that should be visible. So if we can have the emphasis on that visibility of hazards, visibility of the road users, visibility of the vehicles, we can make a lot of difference. And again, people have to understand that the cost of one fatality is 91 lakhs, which is about US 120,000. So people have to go for a safer vehicles whenever they have the choice. When they are gifting the vehicles, like in weddings or to their sons and daughters, they should also think it when they travel, when they rent, they should go for a safer vehicles. And again, they have to check that operator, the driver, if they have to be safer. So if the moment, like in recently one of the incident in New South Wales, the driver is speeding, and that there was about 40 Baratis. They were coming from a wedding, and that this fellow was driving because he was distracted or fatigued, so he was over speeding, and they didn't bother to stop him. And also they were making noises, they were drunk, so driver also got the distraction. And next roundabout, the vehicle overturned because of over speeding and uncontrolled driving, and 10 of those occupants they died. So this happened about 6 months ago in the New South Wales in Sydney. So same thing is that one that when the even the uh, occupants are there, the drivers are there, passengers are there, they have to also see that everybody wears the seat belt, no overloading, and the driver should also be driving. If the driver is under, they should not force the driver to overspeed. They should not force the driver to actually take the rest properly and not drive like a negligent driving. So they should avoid that one. Over speeding and negligence is the of the driving has made a lot of those fatalities and serious injuries.
That's true. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Kailash. And then we look forward to having more such conversations with you in the future.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
very
you very
much.
much. Thank you for giving me opportunity. Again, take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.